Welcome back to my YouTube. You know where you are. Now, before we get started with this video, first of all, make sure to subscribe so I can carry on putting out content and sharing my bodybuilding journey and everything that I'd like to essentially share and whatever you'd like to see on this account. Now, I've got lovely Helen with me today to join me for a lower body session, and Helen has actually made a massive trip to Rotherham all the way from across the globe. She's come back to see her family and actually come for a session together, which is super, super exciting. Helen actually joined us first as an Empower Challenge client. She did the 12-week challenge with us to start off with. And we're actually running another 12-week challenge at the beginning of January. So if you are interested in signing up for the Empower Challenge, go into the description below and find all the details on that and how to get started on that. It's an absolutely fantastic challenge. I think it's amazing. Hopefully Helen thought it was amazing as well, because she has actually stayed with us after and joined us as a full-time client, which is absolutely incredible. But instead of me carry on talking for ages, let's get cracking with our session. It's a lower body session, well, mainly glutes, because life of a bikini competitor, this is the sort of things that I'm doing. So we've got movements like RDLs, abduction, Bulgarian split squats, hip thrusts, and the classic kickback. So let's get started. The first movement that we're going to be doing is going to be an RDL, a dumbbell RDL. I actually do this banded. We're going to get Helen to just do a normal RDL. How I like to think of this, and that's the nerd in me from when I was younger. If you think of like video games, you wouldn't go straight in on expert mode. You know, you have to work on that skill, make sure that you know what you're doing, watch the tutorial first, essentially. Work through that first before you kind of go up in the difficulty. So, because I've been doing RDLs for quite a long while, I can afford to actually add that band and add that extra difficulty right at the top of the movement. But with Helen, we're going to make sure that form is an absolutely perfect spot, and we can get her to start getting stronger and stronger with that sort of movement and get her progressing with that before we think about adding any sort of additional kind of difficulties into that movement.
I normally do the bar first, so 20, and then I've been doing 60.
Okay, so with dumbbells, usually it's a little bit more lighter. But literally pick up 10s and let's see how you get on with 10s. Imagine that your foot is a tripod, so your big toe, little toe and heel are staying in contact, and literally think hips back, hips back. That's better. It's now getting used to that movement. Hips back, hips back. Come on. There we go. Hips back, back, back. Pause, hips forward. Nice. Beautiful. Right. One thing I want you to just be super conscious of, I know right now we're working through this and you want to see what's happening. Just be conscious not to be looking at yourself in the mirror. Oh. I want you to imagine that you've got a neck brace on. So whenever you're kind of shifting your hips back, your neck will always follow the rest of your spine. Because as soon as you start introducing quite harsh angles into your spine, you're making it harder to actually brace and stay safe in the movement, and we don't want you to hurt yourself. You're about to witness the most awkward exercise setup. Graceful. To get used to this movement, you can actually use a band when you're warming up to help you with that sensation of shifting your hips back. So you could even try it now. If you step through this, literally just that one, something that we have just gone over with Helen is, yes, I know I've said that, you know, don't make things more difficult if you've not nailed the basics yet. However, if you are struggling with hip hinging, it's not an easy movement pattern, the whole sensation of allowing for your hips to travel backwards and forwards. If you're struggling with that, actually starting up your warm-ups with getting a band and just going through that motion, really connecting with how you're supposed to allow for your hips to travel back, and then driving through your hips forwards to come back up in the movement can be something really useful for you to do before you even pick up any weight. So if you struggle with hinges, that could be something you could try next time. Pause, hips forward. Yes. Pause, forward. Yes. You're really getting the swing of it now. Yeah, good. Drive through your whole foot. There we go. Forward. 2 more. 2 more. Hips back. Pause. Drive forward. Yes, go on. 1 more. 1 more. Come on, you've got this. Keep the dumbbells close. And drive. Come on, 1 more.
1 more.
Oh, come on, 1 more. 1 more. You've got this. Come on. 1 more. 1 more. Drive. There we go. One thing to take away from this is you're a lot stronger than you think. Probably need to go a little bit heavier. At the end, you are starting to struggle. That's the sort of effort we want with every single set that you go into. So, you know, we want to get to those really hard reps. If we keep our form really great, and if we can't finish the rep with that great form, that's where we fail. We want to get to that point because that's where we're really and truly going to build muscle. That sort of failure point. Apologies, me training is not the most graceful thing. Abduction. So you usually see a lot of videos of girls introducing this into their sort of lower body glute training programs, and it's a great exercise when done correctly, when you don't use your lower back and actually control the tempo and get the most that you can out of this in both shortened and lengthened, so the stretch range. So in order to actually get the most out of this, you notice that if I sit down in this, there's a lot of movement in this machine, and I want this to challenge my glutes in the stretch. So this is where these sorts of pads come in. But the key with this machine after that is all about controlling the tempo, not just using momentum to throw your legs out. That's where you see a lot of bum sticking out, arching in the lower back, walking away with a really achy back. It's all about intent, control, and that's how you're going to feel the burn. There isn't science to it that I know of. Some people feel it a little bit better leaning back. I find I need to lean ever so slightly forwards, but you don't ever want to be doing this. You always want to be thinking about keeping your hips under you. So literally as if you're trying to sit on your tailbone. That's going to ensure that the lower back doesn't come into play. And then the key here is, yes, you want to be quite powerful on the way out, going into that shortened range, because that's where that's where your glutes shorten when they squeeze, but you don't want to just let go, you want to hold it there. So what we do is we drive out, hold, slowly go back into that stretch. Drive out, hold, come back into that stretch. I find with this, I am able to kind of get a better contraction if I lean forward ever so slightly, but use the handles to really pull yourself down and in so that your back can't come in. That's nice, yes. Nice. Lovely. That stretch. And another one, come on. There we go, it's getting hard now.
Yeah.
Drive. Nice, nice. Come on, there's more in there. Come on. Yes, come on. There's at least 2 more in there. Come on. There we go. Good, good. Out. 1 more. You can do 1 more. Come on, you've got this. Out. Come on. Nice. Good job. That was good. That was good. So we are moving on to split squats, Bulgarian split squats. So rear foot elevated. With that movement, you can actually bias your quads or glutes a little bit more. Everything is still going to be working, but you can set it up in a certain way where you can bias certain muscle groups over the other a little bit more. And the key is essentially in how much knee bend you get. We want to be doing a glute focused one. So what we actually want to do is try and keep our shin vertical throughout the entirety of the movement. So to do that, I'm actually just going to have a slightly wider stance when I'm setting up for this movement. Setting up a Bulgarian split squat, a great trick that I find really helps for this. Again, depending on what you need to set up, you will need to adjust it ever so slightly for that. But what I do is sit down on the edge of the bench, put your foot out in front of you, let it rest on your heel. Push yourself up without lifting that foot, literally allow for your foot to land on the floor. And that's your position. You put your back foot onto the bench, and then you'll find you either keep that position. I find if I fully stretch my leg forwards, that's pretty much my positioning for a glute bias split squat, because as I come down, that shin is going to stay nice and vertical. If you want it more quad focused, you'll bring your foot a little bit closer so that when you come down, you're getting a lot more knee flexion, which is going to bias your quads a little bit more too. Key here, you know, any glute training, key is not to do this. It looks great for Instagram, it looks great for social media, but that's not actually what helps build glutes. Tucking your hips under is what's going to help with this movement. So it's always not doing that, because that's going to end up with your lower back getting engaged in the movement. Tucking your hips under, so as you come down, it's actually going to allow for your glute to fully stretch. With it stretching, you're challenging the muscle. As you drive through that leg, you're contracting your glute. You're essentially challenging that muscle again, and that's what's going to help it grow. We're here again, very easy thing to do is to go stick your bum out. We're doing the opposite, so we're thinking bum under, midsection on, so what we were doing with that plank at the beginning, keeping that core nice and tight. Then in order to get a nice stretch and actually help with balance, as we come down, you want to be thinking about allowing your body to rotate towards that leg. So rather than just staying straight on, we're thinking about kind of going at a slight angle. So see how my upper body is twisting? If I was to come all the way down, my knee would end up in the middle of my chest. That's going to help with balance, and it's actually going to really help stretch that glute. We come down, pause, drive hard through that front leg. This movement is all about that front leg. So we want to keep as much of our body weight on that front leg as we can. Come up. There we go. Up. There we go. Nice. A little bit more powerful on the way up. Come down. Down. A little bit lower. There we go. Up. Don't cut them short. Down. Up. Just a little bit lower for me. You again lower before. Come on. Lower. There we go. Drive up. Come on. Couple more. Couple more. And drive up. Come on. I reckon there was another one in there.
Yeah, I reckon there was two.
At least you're honest. At least you're honest. A lot of times it's that mental barrier, and that's the hardest part when it comes to training. You kind of go, I can't do anymore. I can't do anymore. But if you can get past that and, you know, kind of go, yes, I can, you kind of unlock this new level of, I'm a beast, actually. You know what I said about you're stronger than what you think you are? Like I said there, you knew straight away when you finished, I probably had another one, but at that point in time, you probably thought, oh, I've had enough. It's getting past that, you know what, I've been at that point before, and I knew I could do more. Let me challenge myself to do more. What's the worst that happens? You fall over. With that movement, you can just drop the dumbbells. That's the worst that happens. So give it a go next time. You want to be going into every single set with the same sort of power and energy and, you know, being able to give your all. So if you think about any sort of single leg, single arm movement, if you do your first arm, you've probably done it after a minute's rest, after having set up the exercise, you're feeling fresh, you're feeling ready to go. If you then go straight into the other set when you're still catching breath from that set that you just did, you're not going to be able to put as much effort into that set as you did the first one. So take a minute, take a few seconds to, you know, have a breather and get ready to go again to be able to give that same amount of effort for that other arm, because we want to be even, you know. When we come to the gym, we don't want to end up with one massive delt and one massive glute. We want everything to be nice and even, and that requires the same amount of effort for every sort of single arm movement and single leg movements. Oof. Oh, Christ. I love and hate Bulgarians at the same time. It's one of those movements I used to be awful at. I'm not saying that I'm good at them now, but I used to avoid them like the plague. But I ended up kind of seeing the positives in the challenge. You know, when you're really bad at something, it's actually a good thing because it can quite easily improve it. You know exactly what you need to improve. Because when you're good at something, but it could be a little bit better, can be a little bit tricky with that. I just knew I'm really bad at them. So I was like, let me focus on getting better at them. So we've got a little bit of a love-hate relationship. If you come to the gym, don't be like whoever was on here before. Take your weight off. Take the weights off and put them back. It's not hard. The key to success with a glute drive, hip thrust, any movements like this, it's not about how many plates you can load on, it's about how you can keep the tension on your glutes. Because it's very easy to whack loads of plates, especially this machine, because this machine is quite popular. But this is in a lot of gyms, and you'll see people whacking loads of plates, but then you'll see them under the belt and they'll do this with their back. And what is happening is they're using their whole body and their back to actually move the weight, not their glutes. So the key here, when you are setting up, is position yourself in a place where the belt's gonna be right over your hips. Same what you would do with a hip thrust where the barbell would be. You're going right over the hips. With your feet, you don't want them all the way there. You don't want them super close. You want to be thinking about positioning them in a way where, you know where with split squats we said shin vertical, exactly what we're trying to replicate here. Point your toes out ever so slightly, because that's going to help with us being able to squeeze our glutes. Because if you think about trying to squeeze them when you stand like standing straight on, as compared to if you turn your legs out, you can engage your glutes a little bit better. Turn your toes out slightly. Hips where the belt is. So I'm gonna strap in, give them that nice and tight, and then the key is not to do this. See how my back is starting to arch?
Yeah.
We're not doing this. We're thinking back flat against the back pad. So you're thinking about rolling your hips under that belt. So again, you know, if I was to tell you, I want you to thrust something over your head, how would you position your hips? You'd probably try and scoop your hips. This is exactly the position we want our hips in the entirety of the movement. That's going to keep lower back out of play and keep the tension on the glutes. Come up, control the stretch, hips still under, pause, drive hard to come up. So as you come up, you want to literally think about hips going up towards the ceiling, going all the way up. Oh dear. Hips under. Nice. Keep those hips under. Think over your head.
Okay.
Keep that tummy tight. There we go. Don't let go of that tummy. We want to keep it tight. Drive hard. Back against that back pad. Keep that tummy tight. Drive hard through that glute. There we go. Drive. Come on. Tummy tight. Don't let go of that tummy.
No.
Drive hard. One more. Come on. Tummy tight. I'm with you. And one more. Come on. Tummy tight. Keep it tight. And drive up. There we go. A lot stronger than you think, I told you. Oh gosh. Last exercise for today is a glute kickback. There's different variations. I would actually usually do a glute med kickback here, but I think doing a good normal glute kickback is a skill that's going to then be transferable into any sort of kickback that you do. So learning how to do that is always going to be the priority. So that's what we're going to do today with Helen, so we can go through that. You need cuffs that I've got on my ankles, and you need a step, well, as well as cables. These ones that we have here are great, but any cable stack is going to work fine. I've got handles that I can hold on to here, but you can hold on to the stack if you need to. It really doesn't matter. This is just like an added thing that just makes it a little bit more comfortable. But having a step is super, super important, because what we want to do with a kickback is we always want to focus on pushing away with our leg. I know the name suggests it's a kick. It's not. We're not like a donkey. We're not kicking. We're not kicking our leg up and then using our lower back to get involved in the movement. We want to think of it as a push rather than a kick. So with your leg, you want to focus on first pushing down into the floor and then away and up. That's going to engage your glute. Keep lower back out of this and keep the tension on the glute as well. So having that step will ensure that when you're actually pushing down and away, you're not scraping the floor. It elevates you slightly, because when you get in position, as you'll see in a minute, my foot is going to end up ever so slightly lower because I am extending it so far. So it doesn't have to be a step. It can be like a little block. Could be a plate of any sort. Anything that's just going to elevate you off the floor is perfectly fine. I know not every gym has steps.
They don't have the one I'm at the minute, yeah.
Most gyms have bumper plates, and they tend to be a bit thicker. Get yourself in position. First of all, similar to any of the other movements that we did, we don't want to be sticking our bum out. We want to be thinking about tucking and keeping your midsection tight. The most important thing is keeping that tummy tight. That's going to help prevent that lower back getting into play. So literally imagine as if someone's underneath you and they're trying to punch you in the stomach. What you're going to do, you're going to protect yourself. This is exactly what you want to do. So you're thinking about tummy tight, and now think down, pushing through that leg, pushing back and away, holding it in at the top, and then going back into the stretch, thinking about that leg being scraped on the floor. So see, I'm not doing any of the...
Yeah.
We don't want that, because that uses momentum. That's how you actually lose tension off your glutes. Into the floor, come up. Yes, nice. And again. Keep that tummy tight now. Tummy tight. Drive back. And one more. Tummy tight. Keep that other leg straight. We're not using momentum. Drive back. Nice. That was nice. That was nice. One skill that often gets, I think, bypassed by people when it comes to any movements. Before you even start thinking about form, one main component to any exercise that you do is bracing. Every single exercise requires a certain degree of bracing, and in order for you to stay safe in the movement, for you to stay secure in the movement, and for you to feel your strongest in the movement, it's all about bracing. Bracing is not just about engaging your midsection. It's not that. It's about creating that internal pressure so that you can continue to breathe, but not let go of that, not let go of your midsection, not exposing in anyway. So when it comes to heavy movements such as leg press, you want to keep that nice and tight, and that's where bracing becomes extremely important. But it might even be just a single arm lateral. It requires a certain level of bracing to stabilize your body in that movement in order for you to get the most out of that exercise for the muscle that you're trying to work. If you are new to the gym, if you're looking at what it is that you can work on and improve on, start off with bracing. Something that takes, I think, a little practice for everyone, anyone that comes to the gym, especially if they've got certain physique goals that they want to reach, is don't look at ways you can make things easier. Because if it was easy, everyone would walk around looking absolutely jacked, looking massive with these, wonderful, dense glutes. You want it to be hard, because if it is hard, that means you are reaching that point where you're going to make improvements, where you're going to actually get something out of that exercise, something that you haven't gotten out of it before. So make it hard, because that's how you're going to make massive, massive improvements, and that's how you're going to reach your goals. Helen has come all the way from Sydney, not just for me, I wish. But yes, she has come to the UK to see her family, and it's just absolutely wonderful to have had her to come for a session. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's always great to train with clients, and being able to go through things. Because, we see form clips, you send them over to me from across the globe, and being able to run through things in person is always just so much better. But as I mentioned, Helen actually joined us through the Empower Challenge. So we did 12 weeks together, and on the back of the 12 weeks, she's gone, you know what? I want to carry this on, and joined us as a essentially full-time online coaching client. So how have you found it so far? Sorry for putting you on the spot.
No, seriously, I'm 48. I'm the best I've ever looked. Stronger, it's just the whole Empower thing. It's just set me on the right structure, focus, meals. Look, yeah, it's so good. In fact, I do tell everyone in Sydney, so you might get some more people.
Amazing. Always welcome anywhere in the world. And how you found it then transitioning into coaching? How did you find that?
It's similar, but it took a while to get in to know that I can send stuff through and you can look on my phone.
That's the thing with our Empower Challenge. Essentially, you get a taste of what coaching with us is like, but kind of not on such big scale as you do with normal online coaching. When you join as a normal online coaching client, you get so much more out of that process. We look at the timeline of the different things we want to work through. So it's not just 12 weeks. Let's have a look at the next 6 months. Is there anything you want to achieve in the next year? Let's create a timeline for that and work towards those goals. It's the long-term goals and the short-term goals that we can set in place. Different structures to check-ins, and looking through your training and looking at how we can then improve that. So if you're interested, Empower Challenge or online coaching, all the details are in the box below, so have a look, and let me know if you'd like to get started working together. But for now, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you've enjoyed watching this video or any of the videos on my channel. If there's anything you'd like to see at all, please let me know. Drop a comment below as to what you'd like to see from me next. But for now, we're done. I'm gonna go and eat and probably have a shower because I'm rather sweaty. But thank you so much for coming. It's been an absolute pleasure. See you in the next one.